Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll take a look at the crazy story of an office affair where a woman does everything she can to sleep with a married man. When the man doesn't play along, she decides to take revenge in the worst way possible. Don't forget to support the project by subscribing. We're aiming for 150,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can make it happen. Share your wisdom and opinions in the comments. Let's get started.
My ex-husband hopped on a train and left me 2 days after I gave birth. And the funniest part is the whole time he was gone, I was talking back and forth with his best friend who swore that he had no idea where he was. Turns out he was on the other side of the country, kicking it with his best friend and staying with / sleeping with some random woman. And I guess to this day, he still doesn't know if that woman had a kid of his too. Well, it was brought to my attention the other day that that best friend of his has found my TikTok. And I guess he just loves to watch them. Well, when I found his TikTok page, I noticed that he's married now and has a kid of his own. So I just have a couple questions. Would you do what you did to me to your wife? Would you do what you did to my daughter, to your son? Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of your best friend who you helped throughout all of that? I'm just curious. Let me know.
Oh, hell no!
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't get involved in my friends' personal lives. I'm not friends with their wives. I greet them out of courtesy, and that's it. My friendship is with him, not his partner. As long as he doesn't betray me or turn out to be a bad friend, his personal life is none of my business. Now, in the case of this woman, she doesn't know the truth. It's possible that her friend gave him good advice or simply stayed out of it. Because, like I said, you respect privacy and don't meddle in your friends' lives. But I bet that if she saw her friend cheating on her husband, she would never expose her. In fact, she'd be the first to cover for her. Because women don't betray each other. If you doubt it, just look at the stories from girls' trips.
My husband is getting drinks with a female coworker of his, and I am terrified. We've been together for 10 years, married for 5. A couple of nights ago, he was showing me a video on his phone, and that's when a text message came through from a female's name that I did not recognize. He doesn't have his text previews on, so I didn't know what she said. And whenever I asked him who it was, he said, "Oh, that's my coworker, TJ." Huh? The whole time I've thought that TJ was a man. And now I find out that this is the TJ that he's been going and having lunch with for the past 2 weeks. TJ is short for Teresa, and I won't tell you her last name, but it starts with a J. They are colleagues, but they don't work for the same company. Essentially, their companies work together. And he did tell me he was trying to win TJ over because it opened up a really big opportunity for him. I did look TJ up, and she's a very beautiful woman, so obviously this raised my suspicions. When he went to go take a shower that night, I'm not proud of it, but I did go through his text from her. Now, mind you, his company goes out for like company dinners probably at least once a week. And sometimes the other company will come and they will market together. But I saw a text from him asking her if she made it home okay. And then saying that he wished that he would have got to talk to her more that night. That his colleagues had taken up a lot of his time. And then he asked her if she wanted to get drinks again with him. I knew he did tell me about TJ, but I didn't realize that TJ was a gorgeous Latina woman. I scrolled back a little bit further, and then I realized he had actually driven her home from one of these dinner parties. Because she texted him and said, "Thanks for the ride home. Can't wait to talk with you again." Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Read some more of their texts. Some of them were about work. Some of them were personal. She's going through a divorce, come to find out. Then my husband got out of the shower, and I didn't want him to know that I was snooping. He's never been anything but loyal to me. It's not like he's been keeping TJ from me. He's just been keeping the fact that TJ is a beautiful woman from me. But before he got out of the shower, I made sure to turn on his text previews. Brings me to last night. We were laying in bed watching TV, and around 1 a.m. he got a text from her that said, "You up?" Now, that is notoriously a booty call message. And I asked him why she would be texting him that, and he was like, "I have no idea. Maybe she's drunk, and maybe she didn't mean to send it to me." Okay. So I just drop it. I'm like, okay, maybe she did mean to text somebody else. Around 6 a.m., his phone buzzes, and she asked him if he had any spicy cubes. Which I'm like, why does she even know what spicy cubes are? He says he recommended them to her because she is going through a divorce that she doesn't want. He was asking him for advice, and if they took them together, that maybe it could bring back their spark with their intimacy or something. I don't know. Which is true. Like, that is helpful information. I don't know. Then as he was getting ready for work, I went out to his car to get my gym shoes out. And there was a box of spicy cubes in his back seat, and most of them were laying on the floor. There was only 6, meaning that there were 2 missing. I feel like I'm going crazy because I confronted him about it, and he acted like I was just totally being silly, like those were our gummies. They must have fallen out in the back seat. I don't ever remember taking them with him in the back seat of his car. We always take my car when we go out. He acts like I'm just being silly, and he laughed it off. Like, he acts like it's nothing, but I literally feel like I'm going insane. Like, I'm contemplating literally following them. Like, is that crazy? Should I just follow them? Should I just go see for myself, like, what is going on?
Stop it. Get some help.
Let me be clear. This woman has more than just work-related intentions with her husband. Let's not be hypocrites. But he hasn't cheated on her. Yes, she has reasons to be jealous because if the roles were reversed, no man would tolerate this. But going on TikTok to criticize your husband and expose his personal life, that's completely unnecessary and harmful. On top of that, she goes through his phone, which is already an invasion of privacy. And worst of all, she makes a huge scene knowing that he's waiting for a job opportunity. This video could go viral, attract feminists who send letters to his company, or start rumors that could cost him his job, all because she couldn't keep their problems inside the house. But wait, there's more.
Tell me why my husband just called me talking about I need to come pick him up from work right now because he ate a spicy cube without me. The part that sucks the worst is that this has always been a very playful game that me and my husband have played with each other until his female coworker texted him, "You up" at 1 a.m. Then proceeded to ask him about spicy cubes and if he had any, which had me absolutely tripping all week long to the point where I went through his text messages. I even snuck into his work event without telling him. And then she showed up to the work event with her husband, whom, mind you, was trying to divorce her, but she just didn't want it. Also, to make matters worse, I had found a pack of spicy cubes in the back of my husband's car when I went out to get my gym shoes, and there were 2 missing. He said we must have taken them. Well, he joked when we were at the party saying that his plan worked and that he did give them to his female coworker, and that's why her and her husband were leaving to go home together. Like, they did not look like 2 people who were about to get divorced. Like, they were PDAing capital fucking A. And like, the thing is I'm really not even mad at him. I'm just so mad at the situation because I don't know what to do. He's about to land a promotion because of this woman. But tell me why she sent my husband a text in the middle of the fucking night again, talking about how well those spicy cubes worked for her, like in depth, saying things that I cannot say on this app. And the thing is, my husband is so close to getting a promotion. They still have a little bit of work that they have to do together before he settles up with this promotion. And then supposedly she's getting transferred to another location. But I want to confront her and be like, why are you doing this? Like, he's a married man, you're a married woman. Like, what is going on? To the point where I'm about to text her husband. It's not going to be a "you up" text. And I'm glad that they had a good time and like they're not getting a divorce in some way. But some people are just so inappropriate. I don't want to ruin someone's marriage. Like, this is just not my personality. But also, I just don't know what to do. Should I just let it slide? Let my husband get the promotion and let this woman just vanish? Or am I just being totally gaslit? Because at this point, I don't know.
Do you know what the real problem is here? That it's very possible this man isn't doing anything wrong, yet she's already blaming him. If you look at the comments on her post, everyone is already calling him a cheater when, most likely, he's just focused on getting his promotion to improve his family's financial situation. On top of that, the coworker used those spicy cubes with her husband to save her marriage and even thanked him for it. What more proof does she need that he's not doing anything wrong? Now, with her threats on the internet, all she's doing is putting both her marriage and her husband's career at risk. If the other woman sees this and decides to retaliate at work, she could completely ruin him.
I just found out that my husband's coworker is in an open relationship. You know, TJ, his coworker that sent him the "you up" text at 1 a.m. You see, I thought TJ was a Tom, but TJ is actually a Teresa. A very, very, very gorgeous Teresa, mind you. She proceeded to ask him about spicy cubes. Make a long story short, he gave her some spicy cubes to try with her husband because apparently her husband had threatened her with divorce. They did take them together. I was like super suspicious, followed him to his work event, didn't tell him I was coming just to see how they would be acting around each other, saw Teresa and her husband, and they were PDAing, okay? They had definitely taken some of those gummies, and they left together early. They were working. The gummies were gummying. That's when I was pretty much ready to drop it, and until she texted my husband again in the middle of the night, thanking him for the spicy cubes. Valid, okay. I understand it was her first time taking him, but then letting him know how well they worked on her. Sir, he doesn't need to know how well they work on you. He knows how well they work on me. Why are you telling him that? Like, that's fucking weird. He's married, so are you. So that low-key pissed me off. I told my husband, I'm gonna tell her husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're over here wanting to take spicy cubes and make sure your husband doesn't file for divorce. Okay. But then you're still texting my husband in the middle of the night, like, after you take them with your husband? Like, that's weird. Tell your husband how well they worked. Why are you telling mine? So I went to go message him on the good old Facebook, and mid-message my husband does let me know that Teresa is actually being transferred. So then I'm like, okay, do I really care? Like, am I really wanting to mess with their marriage? Like, if anything, I don't want this to ruin their transfer, right? Like, I don't want her to be like, no, I'm staying here because, you know, whatever. I'm like trying to think outside the box here. Obviously, if this man was going to divorce her, he knows how she is. But I accidentally sent the message anyway. And I realized when I got a reply back saying that they're in an open marriage. Yep. Her husband does not care who she takes spicy cubes with. But her husband was quite shocked to find out that we didn't know. And I also found out he never threatened her with divorce. Not one single time. Not one single time did this man threaten her with divorce. Because why would you threaten to divorce someone you're in an open relationship with unless you just, like, didn't want anything to do with it? Like, you know? So I was like, okay, why would she have said y'all were getting a divorce? So he said he wanted to be honest with me. He loved his wife, but that is a ploy that she uses to bait men in. He doesn't think it worked on my husband, but that's definitely what she was trying to do. So I will be talking to this bitch later. You want to be in an open relationship? Sure, fine. That's your prerogative. But just because your marriage is open does not mean mine is. And this shit's got me fucked up.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
Everyone lives their relationship however they want, but an open relationship is just giving your wife permission to cheat on you. As a man, I would never accept that. Here, the story took a complete turn. It turns out that the woman texting the husband at 1 a.m. is in an open relationship, but her husband never threatened divorce. In other words, she used that as a tactic to attract other men. But let's see how it all ended, because this is getting really interesting.
I found out that my husband's female coworker had a target on his back in multiple ways. She made up a whole fabrication pretending like her husband was threatening her with divorce. And she really needed his help. She really needed some advice. Mind you, my husband was up for promotion at work, and she was a colleague of his, meaning she worked for the company that they needed to land. So in order for him to get this promotion, he had to be on her good side. He didn't really know what advice to give her, so he just offered her spicy cubes, like recommended that they should take them. It could make them more intimate, and that could solve whatever problem they had going on and maybe like halt the divorce process. I don't know. Well, that led to her like sending him inappropriate texts like "you up," asking him if he had any of the cubes, inappropriate times. Mind you, this woman knew he was married. Well, I found out my husband actually did end up giving her some spicy cubes. And at a work event, it was very clear that her and her husband had taken them. And it was like, okay, their marriage is solved. Like, you know what? You played Cupid. You helped someone out. I thought, you know what? She's going to leave him alone at this point because she only needed advice from him. And like, he helped her. Wrong. She then proceeded to text him, telling him how well the gummies worked for her in an inappropriate manner that I can't say on this app. That made me crash out, and honestly, it pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? Maybe her husband does need to know that she's doing this. I messaged the husband over the good old Facebook. He says they're in an open marriage, and he knows. He was surprised that I didn't know that they were in an open marriage because apparently she had told him that we were. Because their one fucking rule is you don't bring home someone who's married. Unless they're open, I guess. So she fucking lied. At first, I was like, did you tell her that we were in an open marriage? My husband swears up and down that he never told her that. His husband let me know that she had a target on his back and that was her next victim. And pretty much said that she must be pretty serious about the target she has on my husband's back because she's never lied to him about a situation like this. So she must really want it. He still seemed to act like he just didn't really care. Kind of like gave me a warning, like, good luck. I'm like, oh, fucking K, I guess. Mind you, my husband landed the promotion that day. The thing is, they were having a celebration for him that night, and this coworker, Teresa, was going to be transferred. She's being transferred to a new location. So mind you, I was just going to let all this slip and go away. Like, whatever, I'm never going to see her again, until she decided to text my husband and ask him to meet up in a private spot, maybe in her car in the parking lot, because it was the last time they were going to see each other. And there was some things she just really needed to say to him in private. And my husband texted her and I was like, listen, this is inappropriate. Like, I don't think so. I'm married. Pretty much says that, like, she knows that, like, his wife, me, is on to her. And, like, it's obvious that he has feelings for her too. Like, why would he spend so much time talking to her? Why would he even offer the spicy cubes? He's like, pretty much, are you crazy? Like, I was trying to help you in your marriage. Like, we work together. This is inappropriate. Then she threatens him and is like, you've used me. Like, you have led me on just so you could get this position. I'm going to make sure you don't get it. Like, I'm going to let my company know. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you've been inappropriate. So that's when my husband's like having to get his boss involved now, right? Because now she's turned it completely around. His boss is like a very traditional man and is like, this is weird. Like, he doesn't even understand the whole open marriage thing. He's like 70. I'm printing off all the text messages from his phone. We're turning them into HR. I'm stressed the fuck out for myself, for my husband. This whole entire thing is like just crazy. I have one too many dirty martinis and I show up to the work event. I'm crashing the fuck out. Gummies are going everywhere. And I end up getting kicked out of the venue. Boss was totally on my side. And Teresa is now fired. So I don't think I'll ever have to worry about her again. I will say my husband's whole company definitely knows what a spicy cube is now.
Brothers, there's nothing more dangerous than a vengeful woman just because you didn't give her attention. This story is insane. Teresa's husband agrees to an open marriage, knows his wife is a homewrecker, and still doesn't care. Meanwhile, this other woman's husband was just trying to be polite and ended up in a trap. In the end, the paranoid wife saved the day. Just look at how this crazy woman tried to get him fired simply because he didn't give her what she wanted. This proves that a rejected woman can be even more dangerous than a scorned one. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, here are some questions for you. What do you think about this woman's story? Have you ever owed a woman a favor for helping you get a promotion? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.